All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at how Colorado's extreme environment pushes home siding to its absolute breaking point. I mean, if you live anywhere along the Front Range or up in the foothills, you already know the deal. Our weather doesn't just transition nicely from season to season. It can literally flip entirely in a single afternoon. So we're going to dig into the actual data, the local building codes, and the material science to understand exactly what it takes to arm your home against this incredibly unique climate.
Just think about the sheer volume of threats our homes face out here. We're not talking about a gentle spring rain or your standard summer heat. We're talking about an absolute onslaught. From massive summer hailstorms that can instantly shatter conventional materials, to punishing winter blizzards, to the intense UV radiation we get at high altitudes, and the ever-present, terrifying threat of wildfires. It's an unrelenting stress test for any exterior.
So to make sense of all this, here's our roadmap. First, we'll outline the Colorado Climate Challenge. Then, we'll dive into wildfires, hail, and insurance. Third, surviving that high-altitude sun. Fourth, breaking down the true cost. And finally, why your choice of contractor matters just as much as the material. We're going to break down exactly why James Hardie fiber cement has become the absolute go-to solution for the Front Range. Okay, let's jump right into Section 1, the Colorado Climate Challenge. Let's establish exactly what we're up against. The brutal reality of building in Colorado is right here in the data. We've got 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts and the infamous hail corridor just casually dropping 2-inch hailstones. Plus, we have these wild 50-degree diurnal temperature swings, meaning the temp can literally plummet 50 degrees from the afternoon high to the overnight low. Under these extreme conditions, traditional materials just give up. Vinyl? It shatters in the freezing cold or literally melts and warps in the heat. Wood? Absorbs moisture and rots out during our rapid freeze-thaw cycles. The expansion and contraction forces here are just immense.
And here is where things get really interesting. James Hardie isn't just a generic, one-size-fits-all product. They actually use a system called Engineered for Climate. Out here in Colorado, we get the HZ5 formulation, which is specifically engineered for regions dealing with freezing temperatures, snow, and ice. The material is this tough mix of Portland cement, sand, cellulose fibers, and water, and it's uniquely formulated to reject moisture. So when heavy snowpack sits right against your house and starts melting, the water doesn't soak in. That absolutely prevents the internal cracking and delamination you'd normally see when temps plummet back below freezing at night.
Moving right along to Section 2, wildfires, hail, and insurance. Let's look at how this siding literally acts as a suit of armor for your home. When you compare these materials side by side, it becomes incredibly clear why fiber cement is the ultimate choice if you're in a wildfire-prone area. Wood siding is essentially kindling on the side of your house. Vinyl siding, which is basically just plastic, melts remarkably fast under radiant heat. But James Hardie? It's completely non-combustible because it's literally made of cement and sand. It flat out does not burn. It holds a Class A fire rating, which means it acts as a genuine barrier against the devastating radiant heat and flying embers of a wildfire.
Notice that massive 0. That is James Hardie's flame spread index. In standardized ASTM testing, a 0 means this material will not contribute to the spread of a fire, period. It simply starves the flame of fuel.
So what does this mean for real-world regulations? Well, the new Colorado Wildfire Resiliency Code, or CWRC, goes into full effect by 2026, mandating Class 2 structural hardening in moderate to high-risk zones. And here's the kicker you need to know about, the 25% rule. If you replace just a quarter of your existing siding, you automatically trigger these strict new codes. Because James Hardie is inherently non-combustible, it meets these standards right out of the box. No expensive fire-rated gypsum underneath required. Upgrading now is a huge financial win because that top-tier fire and hail resistance can actually prompt a lot of carriers to drop your homeowners insurance rates.
Now, you're probably wondering, how long does this stuff actually last out here? This timeline tells the story. It's incredibly resilient. The actual fiber cement board is 5 times thicker than vinyl, so it absorbs hail impacts beautifully, and it carries a massive 30-year, 100% non-prorated warranty. That means your coverage doesn't magically shrink over time. While the factory finish warranty is 15 years, the actual functional lifespan of the siding, if you just give it an occasional wash and repaint, easily stretches to 50 years and beyond.
All right, Section 3, surviving high-altitude sun. Let's tackle another massive stressor we deal with every single day.
At our mile-high altitude, UV rays are just brutal on exterior paint. They cause it to chalk, fade, and peel way faster than normal. To combat this, James Hardie uses a process called Color Plus technology. Instead of some guy brushing on color in the wind and dust of your driveway, they apply multiple coats of color in a climate-controlled factory and then literally bake it directly into the board. This baking process cures the finish for maximum UV resistance. And if you're wondering what colors hold up best at high altitude, because of this baked-in protection, even traditionally fade-prone dark colors, like deep, rich blues and dark forest greens, will hold up beautifully for years compared to a standard paint job.
Moving to Section 4, the true cost explained. Let's dive into the elephant in the room, the money. So let's do a direct comparison of what things cost here in Colorado. Vinyl is your budget option, sitting around $650 to $850 per square. A square is a 100 square foot area, but it offers really low durability out here. Metal is mid-range, offering high durability, but it can dent like crazy in our hailstorms. Then you have James Hardie. It is definitely the highest upfront investment, usually landing somewhere between $10 and $30+ a square foot, fully installed, depending on your home setup. But you absolutely have to look at the bigger picture.
Because this leads right to the single most common question homeowners ask us. Is James Hardie actually worth paying double or triple the price over vinyl?
The answer is right here in this quote from the National Association of Realtors. You aren't just buying weather protection, you're buying immediate equity. Putting James Hardie on your home is one of the rare exterior remodeling projects that practically pays for itself by instantly bumping up your property's market value. As you can see, fiber cement actively beats out vinyl when it comes to return on investment, sitting at a massive 86%. When you combine that solid ROI with the money you save by not having to tear down shattered vinyl after the next big hailstorm, and the very real insurance discounts for having a Class A fire-rated exterior, that premium price tag starts to make incredible financial sense over the long run. Finally, Section 5, why your contractor matters. Guys, this is the hidden trap of siding replacement. The best material in the world is totally useless if it's installed wrong.
Look at the stark difference between using just a regular contractor and an elite preferred contractor. Fiber cement is heavy, like 2.5 pounds per square foot heavy. A regular contractor might just nail it right into your thin OSB wood sheathing because it's faster. If they do that, those heavy boards will literally start sliding down your wall over time. An elite preferred contractor, on the other hand, is completely factory trained. They use specialized tools to handle the silica dust safely. They guarantee every board hits a structural wall stud, and they keep exact clearances to stop moisture wicking. And here's the absolute most critical part. Failing to follow these strict installation rules will completely void your 30-year warranty. You have to use a certified pro.
It's really that simple. A premium defense needs a premium factory certified installation. You just can't cut corners on labor with material that's this specifically engineered. Doing it perfectly the first time is the only way to actually get that 50-year lifespan. And that is the ultimate question I want to leave you with. When the next wave of 2-inch hail drops or a wildfire threatens the Front Range, what material do you want standing between your family and the elements? Thanks so much for joining this explainer, and we really hope this helps you future-proof your home. Catch you next time.